Hey everyone, it's me, Larry Andrews again, and I'm back with another 2A asshole setup, and I'm still talking about firearms that don't cost an arm and a leg. And I seem to have pissed off several people, telling me that you shouldn't buy anything below a certain dollar amount. You should do this, you shouldn't do that. If you do this, you're an idiot. If you don't do this, you're an idiot. And they're just proving my point for me. Too many people out there have a thing in their head that says if something costs a lot, it must be good. And the flip side of that is, if it's good, it has to be expensive. And that's like two sides. That's the same side of two different coins right there. It doesn't. You don't have to pay out the nose to get something that's worth using and that's going to be reliable. Here's another one. This is a Gerson Regard MC 9mm. Now, for people that know anything, if you look at it, what does it look like? It looks like a Beretta. It's not a Beretta, but it comes out of the same factories, evidently, that over in Turkey that make weapons for NATO forces overseas, and they crank these out. And yes, it's based on the Beretta design. It's empty. I'll show you as usual. Empty. Nothing in there. Found this at a gun show in Florida because I have this thing in my head, for good or for bad, I need two of everything. I didn't have two 9mm, so I was looking for another 9mm, went to the gun show. Figured out, let's see what they've got. Now I'm left-handed, and you can see on this side is the decocker safety. When it's down, nothing happens. So what does that mean? You put in your magazine, you load one in, now there's one in the chamber, it's ready to go. You do this, it's not going to shoot. You can put it in your holster, you can put it in your pants, I don't care where you put it. When you pull it out, you flip up, and because it's also it's a double action, single action. Double action means when you pull the trigger, it pulls the hammer back and then lets it go. Two actions. Or when you're firing when you're firing in semi-auto mode, single action. Why did I buy this? Oh, didn't you just get a Beretta? Well, because I went to the gun show with $550, and I wasn't sure what I was going to run into. I'm going to put this down. Excuse me. I wasn't sure what I was going to run into. So I'm looking around, I'm like, oh, that looks like a Beretta. And I looked at it, and right next to it were Berettas. That import from Turkey was like $400, and the Beretta that it's modeled after was $600. I had $550. Let's buy that one. Simple. Easy. And I got a bunch of ammo with it as well. Simple, easy, bang for the buck. And I've been out at the range with that gun, and people far enough away, they think it's a Beretta. They come up, oh, nice Beretta, and I show it to them. Oh, this isn't a Beretta. I'm like, go ahead, shoot it. They shoot it. Oh, it feels just like my Beretta. Yes, it does. And I've had 500 rounds through that one, no issues. Now let me say something else for people that don't understand something here. I am not shilling or advertising or advocating anybody go out and buy these things. It's what I have and my reasons for having them. I am not telling you to go out and buy these things. Let's get that right off the bat, because I've had too many people tell me, you shouldn't be pushing these cheap guns on people. I'm not pushing anything on anybody. I'm telling you what I have, and I'm telling you why I have them. Now, I'm going to do 2 for 1 today, because I haven't been feeling well, and I couldn't do anything this past week because of my surgery. And anybody that's had major surgery knows some days you feel good, some days you don't. Well, this has been a week of don't. But here is another. This is big. So here's this thing. It's a Strom from North Weapons. Comes out of Horseshoe Bend, Idaho. I happened to meet the guy who is the rep for this at I want to call it a drive-in restaurant, Greasy Spoon in Florida. A lot of people go there and hang out. It's cool. So I met this guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah," because we were just talking about guns and stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm looking for maybe a relatively inexpensive semi-auto shotgun." And he's like, "Oh, well, I rep this." And he took me over to his car and he showed me a couple of these. This is a Strom. This is from Turkey. It's empty. How do you know it's empty? The bolt's all the way back. There's nothing in here. Then you can see through. You can see my finger. You can see all the way up in here. There's nothing in there. So, this is a Strom. Now, the only thing and it's red. I didn't have a red gun. So this is a 12 gauge shotgun. 9 shots, 9 normal size 2 3/4 shots fit in the tube, and then 1 in the chamber, making it 10 shots altogether. That's number 1. This will also fire 3-inch shells, no problem. Obviously, you can only handle 8 3-inch shells, the Magnum loads. And I've shot Magnums out of this thing. It kicks, but it works just fine. So again, this was maybe 4 and change out the door for a perfectly functioning 12 gauge semi-auto shotgun that I didn't have to pay an arm and a leg for. And I've taken this to the range, and I've shot, I think I shot about, this thing I've only done probably like 100 shells through it. And it's been fine. Again, oh, why don't you just buy a Benelli? Oh, why don't you just buy this? Oh, why don't you just buy that? Because that was $400. And it does the same thing that all those other ones do. Does it feel as good? I don't know. I don't really care. Okay, I'm not feeling up my gun. I'm not hugging my fucking shotgun. I'm not making love to my shotgun. I'm shooting the shotgun. I pointed at something, it goes bang. Now, the only real problem is, because I'm left-handed, is that I end up catching the shells sometimes, which is fine. I wear long sleeve shirts. It's not a big deal. I make sure I put on my long sleeve shooting shirt, and if I get hit with brass, it bounces off. I don't get burned, but it happens. Point is this, people. Again, stop with the put downs. Stop with all the bullshit out there. Help people get into shooting. The more shooters we have, the more people that buy firearms and use firearms, the less what you people call the lefties or the libs can take away. The more we have in the group of gun owners and Second Amendment people, the more they have to take notice and go, you know what, this really isn't going to work. Oh, the other thing, excuse me. This shotgun also comes with this nice little, I have the most open, I don't know if you can see that. I have the most open choke in there now, but it comes with 3 different chokes, which is great. And for those that don't know, the choke, shotgun choke, is what determines how big your spread of buckshot is. If you're running bird shot, you got a whole bunch of tiny little pellets in there. The choke keeps them together, so more stay closer. The farther out it goes, the bigger it gets. But with the chokes, you can kind of control it up to a certain point. Mostly, I shoot the big buckshot out of this, double-aught buckshot, and slugs. I prefer slugs for me, for what I want to do, slugs. And I'll tell you what, 3-inch, 1.25 ounce, 1.5 ounce, Magnum loaded slugs in this thing, it packs a punch. Yeah. So that's what I use it for. But again, it cost me $400 change after tax. It's been fine. And I helped support a guy that's in the community that does this for a living. So here's a guy I actually know, and I'm trying to help him. And that's the other point. Why am I going to buy a Benelli? Why am I going to buy, I don't even know the higher end ones. All I know is Benelli off the top of my head. But why am I going to buy a shotgun from somebody I don't know just because it's got a name on it, when I can get something that works just as well for my purposes from somebody that I've actually met, who actually has some skin in the game, as they say. I'm helping support his business, who happens to be local to where I live right now. And there you go. So it's cheaper, and it helps somebody that I actually can put a face to, instead of, going to any of the big stores or buying online or anything like that. So it's buying local too, which is why I bought that other gun from a pawn shop here where I live, and I bought that other one from from the gun show here, from a retailer here that I actually know of, because I go there to shoot too occasionally. So I mean, that's my whole point. You don't have to spend a fortune to get something that's actually going to function, and you can help people that are local to you, and there you have it. Stop being assholes, 2A people, please. Stop being exclusionary. Stop being snobs. Help people around you get into shooting. Help people around you get into doing these things. And the ones that are trying to stop us from doing this will have way more trouble, because there is going to be way more of us than there are of them. And one last thing. Scott over at Kentucky Ballistics had a real problem with one of his guns, and it basically literally blew up in his face. 50 BMG, which is Browning machine gun, but it's a single load, screw on, break action, 50 BMG, and he's used it a whole bunch of times, but he had some sketchy ammunition, and he went to fire it, and the thing literally exploded in his face, almost killed him. But if anybody who knows Scott at Kentucky Ballistics, the guy's a tank. He's probably a Terminator sent here from the future to help us keep the 2A rights we have. But be careful what you're shooting. Be careful of the ammunition you use. Try not to shoot something your buddy handed you, because they might not know exactly what's going on. If you're going to shoot reloads, get them from like a reputable company, someplace it came from. I've shot a lot of reloads from my 45 ACPs, and I have never had problems with it, because I know where it comes from. And if something stupid happens, you can go to them. They are liable. Whereas, Scott doesn't know necessarily. I'm not sure if he even knows where this particular ammunition came from, but he put it in, and it just blew up in his face, literally. So, Scott at Kentucky Ballistics, I hope you get better. And people out there, don't be 2A assholes.